Hello, hello, hello. My name is Jade. I'm an esthetician and beauty provider for Purp Skin, and I'm so excited to be voicing over this video for you all. So, as you can see, there is no sound coming from this video. I totally dropped the ball. I did not have on my transmitter. Well, I had on the mic, but I didn't have the transmitter plugged into the camera. So here I am with Chelsea, my friend and fellow esthetician, and we're doing a brief consult about her skin. I already know that she deals with congestion and texture on the skin. We both work so much, and so it's very easy to get caught up in the cycle of just cleansing, sunscreen, cleansing, sunscreen. And when protecting your skin from the sun, you always kind of got to sacrifice somewhere, and for us the sacrifice is getting that build up. It doesn't necessarily mean that the product is congesting or comedogenic, but it just means that you're wearing your sunscreen every day, and you have to make sure that you exfoliate, you get a deep cleanse, and in Chelsea's case, you get a facial. So I want you all to bear with me because I have been trying to do this voiceover for so long, and if you have been following me, and if you do follow me, then you know that I was supposed to drop this like a week ago. So I'm so sorry. I just honestly, I have to just go with the flow right now. I'm folding clothes, I am multitasking, but for some reason, just talking into my computer, into the mic, or into the phone for an extended period of time is so awkward, and I find myself like stumbling over my words. So I figured I would multitask and talk, just kind of giving insight into a basic facial, what to look at when you're having certain skin concerns, and just how to get healthy, glowing skin, and some tips that'll work for everyone. So we will start with the basics. A well structured skincare routine is not just about like vanity purposes, it's really about confidence. And when you have confidence, you're able to give more of yourself outward into the world, creating something of meaning and giving something of meaning that other people can apply and make their lives better. So when you look good, you feel good, but you also do good. So that is why we want to have at least a basic skincare routine so that, you know, we can perform our best. So it's a fundamental aspect of maintaining your skin health and overall well being. Your skin is the body's largest organ, and it acts as a protective barrier against environmental aggressors and pathogens. When we're outside and we're allowing our skin to be susceptible to the environment, we are actually causing more harm than we know that we are, because usually environmental stressors don't show up right away. If they do show up right away, they're showing up in the form of irritation, rash, sunburn, things like that. But long form environmental stressors, those factors are going to show in the long run when we begin to age, when our skin begins to sag, and when we have hyperpigmentation so deep down in the dermis that it's, you know, going to take forever to reach down there and clear that up. So I want to jump into that a little bit. Hyperpigmentation. When you have discoloration or you have dark spots on the skin, you cannot scrub it away with a physical scrub. You have to reach down into the dermis because that is where the color lives, and we have to treat it there so that it does not come up and show in the epidermis, which is this first layer of skin that we have that we see. So that's just a little tidbit there. Back into the daily routine. An ideal daily routine is functional and it works for you. So where you're on TikTok and Instagram and you on all of these sites and they have ample amount of products in their routine, 12 step, 10 step, 5 step, honestly, that's not necessary. Oh, look at me trying to introduce myself to y'all, but a total fail. Anyway, 10-step, 12-step routine is totally not necessary. You can keep it minimal if you would like. If you would like to be more savvy and have 2, 3 serums, then you can do that. But I really recommend having a solid foundation first. So, a solid foundation in skincare looks like cleansing daily, cleansing nightly, and always moisturizing after you cleanse your skin. That's the basics. Ideally, we would like to have a toner to balance pH in the routine, and we would also like to have an exfoliant at least one time a week to keep dead skin at bay. So, the benefits of cleansing. Daily cleansing removes dirt, oil, and other impurities that accumulate on the skin throughout the day. By cleansing your skin, you help to unclog your pores, preventing acne and breakouts. There are so many different types of cleansers on the market. There's so much everything on the market. You go to the grocery store, and where we used to have 5 cereal options, we now have 50. So you have to make sure that you're very intentional when going to shop for skincare, and better yet, looking for professional advice from a licensed esthetician like myself. So you can have a cleanser that is foamy. You can have a cleanser that is milky. You can have a cleanser that is oil based. It's all based on your skin type. Ideally, I have a very oily skin type. I feel like I'm acne prone, but obviously I'm deep into skincare, so I'm fairly balanced these days. But I do lean towards the oilier side. So I like to do an oil-based cleanser, and then I like to use that for at least 60 seconds on dry skin. I like to emulsify that with water, and then I like to go in with a deeper cleanse. So something that lathers, something that's really going to remove the oils from the surface of my skin but not strip me. So, cleansing is a method that is going to basically give you a clean slate, and it's going to make it where now you can either exfoliate if you want to go deeper into removing dead skin, or as we normally just do on a daily, you would go in with your toner or serum. So, toner. Toner is, for me, one of the most important steps in my routine. I literally cannot go without toning my skin. I feel like toning is beneficial in many different ways. It helps to balance the pH levels of the skin. When the pH levels are balanced, then our skin is balanced and everything works the way that it should. So you're not overproducing oil, you're not underproducing oil, and you allow the products that you put on next to penetrate better into the skin. So, for instance, how many of us shower, get out the shower, and then put on our clothes, and then go and try to put on a moisturizer? Not me, because I go right naked and all, fresh out the shower, and I go do my skincare because that is what's important to me. But if you are one of those people who are not super skincare savvy, and you aren't super thirsty to just go and do your skincare, it's okay, because there is benefits for you. So I'm sorry, there is an option. There's a way for you. The way for you to get optimal results with your skincare when you are not going right from shower or bath to skincare, which means you're going to have hydration or water left on the skin, is by using a toner. So, a toner is going to actually leave a layer of moisture on the skin to draw your moisturizer deeper into the skin. Have you ever went to go put on some body lotion and you're like, I'm dry, my skin is literally bone dry, and I put it on lotion and it's just sitting on top? Like, I don't feel any more hydrated. I don't feel like my skin looks dewy and glowy, like the moisturizer went nowhere. That's because there was no moisture left on the surface of the skin. The same thing that we apply to the body will be the same thing that applies to the face. Toner is not only going to balance the pH, but it's going to add moisture to the surface of the skin so that you are able to absorb any other products that you put on. For instance, when I get out the shower, I put on my rose water. Ideally, I have so many different toners, but ideally rose water or like a CBD mist from Glymed. That's what I've been using lately. So I'll mist a generous amount. Oh, I also really like Mystic by Cosmetics. It literally leaves a layer of hydration on the skin. I put that on until I'm dripping, and I love it. So you take a generous amount of whatever toner that you're using, you put it onto the skin, and then you follow up with your serum. If you're using a serum, then a serum always goes before your moisturizer. A serum. A serum is going to have smaller molecules than a moisturizer. Hence, it's going to actually penetrate and can reach the dermis. Not all serums are going to reach the dermis. Some of them are just going to go a little bit past the epidermis and help to really just lock in moisture or any ingredient that is in the serum. But for the most part, a serum should reach down into the dermis and it should create structural change in the skin. So a lot of times in this skincare market that we're in right now, products will literally contain oil, an occlusive ingredient, and it will say that it's a serum. If it contains oil, it is not a serum because oil does not penetrate past the top layer of the skin. By definition, a serum is going to have smaller molecules that penetrate the epidermis to make its way down into the dermis, a lower level of the skin, to create structural change in the skin. So keep that in mind as we move forward here. So back to toning. You're toning, you are adding moisture onto the skin, you're balancing the pH, and toning is allowing products to penetrate deeper because it has that water to draw it down deeper into the skin. Now, I don't want to get confused. I want to continue talking about toners for a little while. As you can see on the screen, I'm just massaging Chelsea. I'm really into firming, lifting, massage, really working with those muscles on the side of the mouth, the mandible, the buccinator, because a lot of stagnant energy lives there, and that platysma muscle really stretching from the neck upwards because that is a very neglected muscle. Back to toning. So toning the skin, a lot of my clients are like, yeah, I tone. I use witch hazel. Witch hazel is not a bad ingredient. I don't hate witch hazel. I actually use witch hazel from time to time. For me, it's more of a prep when I'm ready to do a mask and I want to degrease the skin, similar to using alcohol when you want to apply a peel, because you do want to remove the natural oils from the skin so that whatever mask, peel, um, just or product that you're applying that you really want to latch on to the skin, to the cells, and not be drawn in by the moisture that's on top of the skin, you want to degrease so that that can really penetrate and do what it needs to do. So witch hazel is not, in my opinion, gonna be an everyday ingredient that we are using as our toner. Toners can come in a couple different categories. You can use a toner that is a mist or a hydrator. These are usually going to be pH balancing. You can use a toner that is an astringent. An astringent, excuse me, an astringent is usually going to be used for acne prone skin when you want to kill bacteria or dry out the acne. Similar to a product if it has alcohol. It's always going to be drying. It's always going to strip the skin of some of its natural oils. This is not always a bad thing because sometimes that is what we want. We want to dry out bacteria. We want to dry out acne so that it can eventually go away. But the problem is when doing that, we miss the replenishment. Anytime you dry out moisture in the skin, purposely or not, You have to put that moisture back in order to get back to a balanced level. For example, if I were doing an at-home routine, or even if I was doing a facial on my client in service, I would make sure to keep the skin balanced to work by the time I got to the end of the treatment. I would want to make sure that the skin was balanced. So how would I go about this when using so many different products with so many different pH levels? I would cleanse the skin first. Next, I would use an astringent. This is where my astringent or my alcohol based toner would come in. I would degrease my skin, and now let's say I have a lactic acid or glycolic or arbutin or mandelic or a malic acid mask. Any of these acids are meant to break down the bonds that is holding the skin together in order to give us brighter, more dewy, smoother skin. So I would use my astringent or my alcohol based toner to degrease the skin, followed by a mask that is meant to exfoliate on a deeper level. If you're doing a hydrating mask and not something that's having acids or that's breaking down those bonds, it's not necessary to use an astringent. You're using an astringent or an alcohol based product or a witch hazel based product when you want to degrease the skin, which means dry out, kill bacteria, or remove natural oils. This is creating an imbalance, so we have to keep that in mind. Once I remove once I remove my mask, my exfoliating mask, not my hydrating mask, once I remove my acid or my glycolic, my lactic, whatever that exfoliating mask is, it can even be a clay. For instance, I love the Osea red algae clay mask. That mask tremendously helps to kill bacteria in the skin and just create a smoother surface. You would use an astringent. After you remove the mask, you're going to want to replenish the skin. How do we replenish the skin? With hydration. Hydration does not come from oil. That's something that I want to throw in. A lot of people are like, I'm so dry, I'm so dry. I just smack on my coconut oil. I'm so dry. I smack on my jojoba oil. I'm so dry. I just smack on my um shea butter. These things are not necessarily going to contain enough water to draw moisture into the skin, to lock moisture into the skin. So that's just a little tidbit. We will get there. This is about replenishment. So I want to make sure that we are on point because I'm probably like blah, 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 blabbering. But I want to make sure that we're on point. How are we replenishing the skin after degreasing the skin when using an astringent? We are replenishing. So we want to use things like Sea Algae Mist by Osea, Rose Water by Heritage Naturals, Mystic by Cosmetics. These are things that contain ceramides, peptides, hyaluronic acid. Those are ingredients that are going to hydrate the skin. When you hydrate the skin, you are now making way to lock in that moisture with your moisturizer. So by using a toner in the hydrator or pH balance category, we are replenishing the skin and we are adding moisture so that we can go in with our serum, which might also contain hyaluronic acid, ceramides, peptides. But that's not to get confused that a serum can also contain acidic ingredients and it can contain acids like glycolic and lactic. But right now we're talking about replenishing. So ideally, you have washed your face, you have degreased your face with your astringent or your alcohol based product, you have applied your mask, your exfoliating mask that is meant to remove dead skin and give you a fresh layer. Now that you have removed that mask, you're ready to replenish with your toner, go in with your serum, and lock in that hydration and that moisture with your moisturizer. Are we following? Like, Is this making sense? The difference between an astringent and a mist and a pH balancer. Like, these are different things. If it contains alcohol or witch hazel, that is going to dry you out. It is not going to balance you. If it contains ceramides, peptides, and hydrating ingredients, pH balance ingredients, that is going to hydrate you. So we have to keep that in mind. Now, the benefits of moisturizing. Please never wash your face without putting on a moisturizer. Please. Because you're removing all your natural oils and then you are not protecting your skin from the environment. You are not replenishing the moisture. A moisturizer has to be used. There is a moisturizer that is right for you. There is absolutely no such thing as I am too oily or I have acne, so I don't moisturize. In no world is that a thing. In no sex is that a thing, man or woman. That is not a thing. Okay? Please moisturize your skin. Now let's kind of hop into facial oil. Y'all love y'all some facial oil. Y'all love it. And I love it too. That is why I sell a facial oil, my Purpose of beauty oil, which contains jojoba and grapeseed and Himalayan sea salt and lavender, and we love it because it can be used as a spot treatment. It can be used in your hair as a cuticle treatment. You know, shameless plug. I love the Purp beauty oil, but I'm not gonna sit here and say that the oil can be beneficial if you are applying it to something that is not already hydrated, something that does not already contain water or a water-based product, which would be your moisturizer. Don't expect to put on an oil and then be hydrated. You might put on an oil and have a sealant. Your skin might be protected from the environment because oil sits on top, but it's not going to do you any good to put on an oil when the skin is not properly hydrated. Or if the skin is not properly exfoliated, because if you have a blockage there, nothing is going to penetrate. Always, always, always moisturize before applying an oil. The only case that doesn't apply is when you're applying oil to um, maybe tan, maybe it's a sunscreen oil, or when you're applying an oil as a sealant, something that you just want to put on to protect your skin. But that is very rare cases. For the most part, oil is not going to penetrate. Oil is going to lock in moisture. So keep that in mind. So I feel like I've went over the basics of, cleansing, toning, um, moisturizing, facial oil. We didn't talk too much about exfoliation. We did talk about the fact that these acids are meant to break down the barriers, the bonds that hold our skin together and hold our cells together. But we didn't get into detail, but we will in another video, because the video that I have following this one will be kind of talking all about finishing products and the products that I use on Chelsea at the end of this. But I want to use this last bit of time to talk about facial cupping and what I am doing on Chelsea right now. So cupping, sculpting, lymphatic drainage, that is all my thing. I am a facial sculptor. I am a lymphatic drainer. I am a cupper. Like, that is what I do. That is my niche. If you are into anti-aging, looking snatched, looking firm, looking lifted, I am 100% your girl. Like, I'm obsessed with this. So right now, I am working on Chelsea's under eye. I'm making sure that every movement that I'm doing, I am also draining out the lymph nodes, which lymph nodes are present behind the ear, under the arms, behind the knees, in the chest. Lymph nodes are present throughout the body. The benefits of cupping are you're not only moving stagnant energy, which really helps you with a reset. You feel amazing after a cupping session. I mean, look at Chelsea. Like, she, she is in heaven. She is completely trusting me. She completely is, allowing me to do my thing. And that is a huge compliment when working with a client as a provider. when your client is snoring, sleep, just fully melted into the table. That's what I like to call it. I like to make sure my clients melt into the table. So when cupping, you are moving stagnant energy, you're moving stagnant lymph, you're creating muscle memory, you're moving stagnant blood, you're moving stagnant water. You are really kind of creating a whole new phase. And in turn of moving this inflammation and this stagnant energy, you're creating a sculpted look, and you're creating dimension in the face. So now you can, visibly look brighter, healthier, um, and just glowy and dewy. So cupping is very beneficial for any and everyone. I will say, if you have thin skin or sagging skin, you can get cupping done, but the provider will want to be very gentle not to pull or snag your skin, because this can cause broken capillaries, bruising underneath the skin, and that's a whole nother concern that now we have to look into lasers and such to heal the skin once we have broken the capillaries. We are reaching the end, but lymphatic drainage is something that I recommend for everyone. Lymphatic drainage is going to be beneficial in full body health, in increasing energy in the body, and just giving us overall healthy vibe. Like, who doesn't just want to be healthy? Do lymphatic drainage, do facial sculpting, get facials, wash your face, exfoliate your body, moisturize your lips, exfoliate your lips, apply your products to your neck and décolleté. Like, please, 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 please. You don't have to be skincare savvy in all of the ways. You don't have to know mandelic acid. You don't have to know um, about microdermabrasion. You don't have to know about microneedling. You don't have to know about all the serums in the world. Like, literally, you don't have to know everything. You just have to know what works for you. So right now, look at Chelsea. I cannot get over this. Like, okay, I'm gonna just use this last little time to say, book with me, book with Purp Beauty, book with Purp Beauty Skin. Like, get in tune with this movement. We are uplifting people one step at a time, one day at a time. It is so hard sometimes for me to gather my thoughts. I'm a thinker and I am a talker, but I don't know. Sometimes I'm talking to myself right now. Like, I'm making this recording, and eventually, you all will hear it and we will be able to have dialogue surrounding it. But, it's hard. It's hard being a creator when you move with purpose. So I want to just uplift all the creators out there. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep believing in yourself. Keep providing value, and it'll be beneficial. It'll work out in the end. Look at Chelsea. She asking me if I use the cup. Like, original. Yes, I used the cup, crazy lady. I just did a whole cupping session on you. And that is how much you want your client to trust you.
It's so freaking hard.
They put down
for these cameras.
I know. You.
I know. This fucking camera cut off. This your phone?
Oh, I didn't mean to curse. Sorry.
I did.
Yes.
I told you. It was charging for the majority.
See you all in the next video.